Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Makakadash, Yahweh being the true name for the Father, Yahushai being named for his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, taught us truth and will well, and citation to hopefully that puts truth and honesty and sincerity. Spirit of Yahweh, come to know this is the spirit power, Yahweh Yahushai, and this lesson is going through the spirit, words of wisdom. What you're seeing here is a bit of a testimony to this walk in the faith. Basically, probably about a little over 4 or 5 years ago, I stumbled across some grapes growing along a fence, somebody's fence in the neighborhood, when walking my children to school. And I remember when I first got the home that I'm living in, I said, man, it would be great if I could have grapes as well. I would like to grow some. So the grapes were falling all over the sidewalk and the concrete from that fence line, and I happened to pick up a couple of them. I said, you know what? These are wild grapes, man. I was looking at them, and ate a couple, and they were sweet. I said, this would be awesome if basically if I could get it to where I can grow these myself. So, nevertheless, I took a cluster and walked back home, and I just straight up dug a small hole in the ground for a few of them and planted them. Nothing came up the next year to my extent knowledge, so counted it. It just didn't work. Jake just tries things out, and lo and behold, years later, I decided to start a garden for myself, and this is basically the outcome so far. I just did a quick testimony lesson on that as well, and I was looking to go to the grocery store or the store in general to find some grapes to be an addition as well to plant. I was like, man, but you know what? I've heard that these things take years before you can actually have the fruit. You may not be here long enough to even enjoy it. And then lo and behold, man, let me see if I can zoom into this photo. If you can see this fence line right here is my neighbor's fence. And I noticed there was some overgrowth on top of the fence. And I get closer up to the fence. I said, you know what? That looks like grape leaves. And as I get closer to the fence, I looked, and there was clusters next to these grape leaves. I said, these are grapes. And it dawned on me. I said, wait a minute. I believe I planted these. I believe this is my vine, and it's growing along my neighbor's fence. So I inspected it, examined it further, and traced the vine, and it was the exact spot to the T of where I planted some of those clusters of grapes years ago. And I had no idea, but it had sprouted and become fruitful to the point to where I had already had grapes growing when I was looking to purchase something to grow grapes. So call all Yahweh Shai, man. I want the spirit. And just further adds to the point of the lesson I went into, of sowing seeds and being patient for the fruit to come. And as I was meditating on, wanting fruit to be provided in the garden that I planted, because most everything I have is just all vegetables and herbs, and you can see how prolific even those are. This right here, this whole bunch, and that's all parsley shooting up, man. It's amazing. But I actually had fruit that's already growing, man. It's just waiting for those grapes to mature enough to harvest. And they are wild grapes. You know, wild berries can be a little bit sour, but the ones that I planted in particular, I did eat some of them, and they actually tasted pretty sweet, you know. But that's the spirit, man. That's the spirit that, you know, what are the chances that the time that I go to start a garden and I'm looking to put grapes in addition to what I got, but I've already had the grapes were already growing and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it, man. And here's the result. So what I did is I just took the vine and pruned it and removed it from my neighbor's fence very gently and carefully, and installed my own fence for the vine to grow. And you can see, you know, how it's coming along. This is something that had been growing that I didn't even know for the past few years, man. And I examined it further, and that vine has become pretty invasive. It pretty much took over everything, all the brush that's behind the fence line, that's going down to that storm drain. There's a lot of trees and stuff growing behind there, and that vine, as I pay attention, is growing through all of that, man. And it all traces back to a few vines or grapes that I planted. You know, so that's the spirit, and this is going to be something that's going to be, fruit for me and my family, and something that I can use to produce wine this year, man. You know, so the Lord always provides, man, always provides. Okay, but also we want to take these things that we were given as these small little testimonies, you know, to be edifying for the rest of the body. And that's what I want to do right now, is get right into it. Okay. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 9 and 20. It says, "So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect." Okay, so the Lord looks at the nation of Israel as perfect, and He has kept some of us perfect in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, those that are predestined to do His will and His bidding and serving Him and prophesying and bringing out His work and His word, man. In great labor have He made that perfect. You know, we're trying to make ourselves perfect in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're coming back to Him, you know. And He kept us, and He plants us, and eventually we flourish, we flourish, and we thrive, you know. And another scripture goes into, you know, Israel is compared to like wild grapes found in the wilderness. And you got some of those wild grapes, you know, those Israelites have become wicked, you know. But, you know, it's like a diamond in the rough, man. Because when you find grapes in the wilderness and you're in a survival situation, then you would know that that's a very, that's a gem to find, you know. So, hey, man. It says, "Let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect." You know, the Lord kept us as that grape. You know, and it's something that I kept. I planted those, and with a lot of labor over the years, you know, of growing in this truth. You know, you begin to see a lot of results. Okay. And now I'm seeing this vine that was planted is now flourishing. It's now flourishing, man. This book of Genesis 41 and verse 52. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for Yahweh hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. You know, That's the spirit, because I just happen to be a Ephraimite as well, and in the land of the affliction, the Lord always, provides not just specific to tribe of Ephraim, but the nation of Israel in general. He is taking care of us. He calls us to be fruitful in the land of our affliction. Blesses us all the time, man. He always finds a way out of no way. When brothers get in certain time periods, they think they're not going to make it. Things are looking pretty bad. The Lord always comes through, man. Always. And Tawadi Habashim Yal Shai for that, the hedge of protection that He provides for us. And that's what He does when you do His will, His work, man. It's you're gonna go through a lot of tribulation and trials when you're called and you're doing the walk. Nonetheless, He's not gonna put more on you that you're not able to bear, and He's gonna take care of you. In addition to this, as well, what you're seeing here is 2 little chicks that are born, and one of my hens. I lost a rooster and a hen due to some type of unknown illness. They passed away about 3 weeks ago, and the Spirit told me to take a few of the eggs and allow one of the hens to, try to hatch them. And this was before I knew that I was going to lose that rooster. The rooster died in the process of already me setting aside these eggs to be hatched. And after the rooster passed, I wasn't too sure if those eggs were going to hatch, because I had tried to raise baby chicks before and it was unsuccessful. They never hatched. So this time, I tried it again. I lost 2 chickens, and then look what hatched. Lo and behold, 2.5 weeks later, after setting them aside, I lost the rooster. And it's a spirit, man, because what you see, this little black one here, that's the color of the rooster that passed. And the other one right here, the little yellow one, that's the color of the hen that passed too. So it's like the Lord just straight up replaced, what was lost. And that's edifying within itself as well. This is the book of Job 1:21. And said, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Yahweh gave, and Yahweh have taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. You're going to have ups and downs, man. You're going to take losses. And this one time after this loss that I had, even with the chickens, the rooster that I lost, man, was beautiful, man. Probably the most beautiful rooster most people would consider, ever seen. Very rare looking. It was mixed with a breed called Ayam Samani, which is a black melanated chicken breed, where all their skin, feathers, and internal organs are black. He was kind of mixed with that, but he was mixed with another. So he had all black feathers, but on his neck and his head was like a red color. And his tail had this really big feathers that had this dark Irish mossy green tint to it. Beautiful bird, man. And when I first got him, and I had lost him for a couple weeks or so, and then one of my neighbors that also raises chickens found them and returned them to me, and I remember being kind of upset, really hurt about losing them. And this time he actually got lost for real. He passed away, but it had grown so much, being in His truth. You take so many L's and catch so much hell, in this world. It didn't really even faze me that he passed, because I knew that, you start learning about you're going to receive losses in this world. Don't set your heart too much upon things and be overtaken and over stressed out about too much shit. Because when you get older and seasoned in this truth, your focus becomes so much more on the important things as far as the kingdom, that everything else outside of that is just perks. You know, it's just vain possessions. But everything that you have in the world, you may lose some, but you know you're going to get it returned unto you. And I knew that through the Spirit, I'll get it returned unto me, man. So I wasn't tripping. And lo and behold, after I struggled in hatching birds, after these two passed, two more hatched that looked exactly like the two that left. Explain that, man. And that's how you have to be, man. Be very, very patient in this thing. Plant your seeds, sow your seeds, and trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that He'll provide. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 40. Okay, we'll start at verse 8. It says, And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to Yahweh? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him in my dream, Behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine there were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner, when thou wast his butler. So the Lord used a vision of grapes, that Joseph used to interpret into, this man's dream. And it was that interpretation, that was successful, that did come true, and the dream come true, that he restored into Pharaoh's house. And when he told Pharaoh, what Joseph did and how he broke down that dream, that ultimately led to another interaction between Joseph and Pharaoh, and he broke down Pharaoh's dream, and he basically foretold the future of a 7-year famine. And they were able to survive it because they were able to prepare. And so the vision is, this preparation is ultimately, in this work, is teaching the great deliverance that's coming from Yahushua himself, man. So this vision that involves, it can be compared unto like grapes were preserved as clusters of grapes in the eyes of Yahweh. He's coming to, tread the winepress alone, and he's going to, his garments are going to be dyed with the blood of the grapes, treading in the wicked when he comes back. But he also, he says he's not going to drink of the fruit of this vine until he drink with his brothers in the kingdom, roughly paraphrasing. So he's reserving a certain level of drinking the wine and righteousness of the precious grapes that he's chosen of Israelites, the hopeful elect, man. He's going to crush those grapes, make it into wine, and put it in a cup and drink with the Akim, man, in the kingdom when he comes and deliver us, man. So that's the vision, the interpretation that we're given right now to the nation of Israel and the whole world, that we are going to be delivered, man. The Lord is going to come and deliver us. We're patiently waiting. And he's going to restore us into our rightful place in the kingdom. Okay? So, this brings that to remembrance with the experience of seeing those wild grapes break forth that I'm waiting to harvest. And this is the book of Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So we're just waiting for it, man. Waiting for that vision to come at the appointed time. And we're seeing a lot of the visions that were written of, they're happening right now, man. We're seeing them. We're seeing the vision of the MOTB, the mark of the beast, coming to fruition. Isaiah 4 and 1. Beginning, that mentality is beginning to happen with women. Jacob's trouble, martial law, World War III. All these visions are written of within the Bible. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So a lot of us, spiritually, we've planted those grapes, man. And like a wild grapes basically take over and they become invasive. And that truth is taking over the whole world, man. And it's choking out Esau's kingdom. And call all Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for that. Your brothers continue to push, man, and let this testimony be uplifting to the Akim. So with that, Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. We'll close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us truth and more well. And so I teach you, hopefully, that pushing this truth and honesty, sincerity. Shalom.